Hello and welcome back to Onderheim Zoo. So you may be able to see it in the distance there, but I totally forgot to mention this at the end of the last video. I actually had finished it and it totally slipped my mind as I was finishing up that video. I was kind of rushing. I was like finishing up the last bit of filming and editing on the day that I was releasing it, like last Monday. So yeah, I totally forgot, but I did get the peafowl in, so I guess this is the first episode with the peafowl. But let's take a look. So you can see them here. We've got this guy just sleeping in his little forage box over here. We've got one over here. We've got a fun little female peafowl over here. I think there's like 7 of them or so. I took a bunch of the gold-rated ones from Naropa City Zoo. We had a bunch, so I took a few from there. Thought that would be easiest. I know they're cheap anyway, but yeah, that worked really well. And yeah, they seem to be doing well so far. They're not complaining about the guests or their habitat or anything. So I think it's going quite well. They like this little space. So what I ended up doing, I had to expand out in here a little bit and add the staff rooms, but this is essentially where the staff come from. It's very ugly in here, but they come through here and then they come through this wall here as well. A couple things that maybe I'll fix up, like actually add a door here and maybe make it look less awful in here, but you know, it is what it is. At least we can't see that for the most part. And then I added the gate just at the bottom of the stairs here, so essentially our guests will come down the stairs and enter into the habitat now rather than just, you know, into the plaza. Looks a little bit funny. We now have these kind of weirder pathways instead of the just like plain block of path, but I mean, it all kind of worked out in the end anyway. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. So the peafowl essentially have rain all the way up in this area and all the way down this way and all the way to the beach. They can't swim, so this is just kind of a natural barrier for them. They just go right to the edge here. And yeah, they can get all the way down here as well. We can kind of take a look at exactly what they can do. Habitat is this one. Yeah, so they can go all the way down to the water. They just can't swim, and then they have free reign of all this guest path all up here. So they seem to be enjoying it so far. It's just the fennec foxes that are very upset. And that's because they are stressed, of course. They're always stressed. So yeah, that's too bad. But that'll go away pretty shortly here. Oh, why? My goodness. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, space. Oh, he's stuck? Okay, well that might explain it. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, these guys are just stressed out. I still don't really know what to do about that, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, the thing that I was thinking, and it's not going to be this episode, it would be in like a cleanup episode, I think, at some point. But I was thinking I can expand this little village out. So I could essentially make it so that there are buildings blocking this entire wall here. And then that gives them the buildings that they can go into, so for shelter. Get rid of these ones. And then essentially the only place the guests can watch them from is up here. And I wonder if that will help their stress out a bit. I don't know. I'm just kind of worried that they're just like very prone to stress and, you know, nothing is going to unstress them. Except for a smaller habitat without the water for them to get stuck in. Which is actually the other option. I could just have them either only on this side or only on this side. I don't know. I don't think that would help. I think maybe expanding this village out all the way along here might help. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll keep an eye on it. Again, it doesn't like... They're not stressed all the time. It just like comes and goes in waves. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't know. But today, I'm just trying to think if there's any other updates other than the peafowl. I don't think so. So today I want to continue working on this area here. So what I'm thinking, what we're adding today is the dingo, as you probably already know. So I wanted to, I think I mentioned this last time too, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to transition this into Egypt over here. So I think we could probably expand this out a little bit more, add a few more buildings, just kind of coming out this way, but maybe we'll like thin out the buildings a little bit as we come this way. And then maybe the habitat would be best over here, because all our staff building, we have this staff building over here already that's mainly for the hyenas. So we can kind of do the same thing, like just have the path come out. Maybe the dingo habitat goes all the way to the end here. And then we can maybe make some of these buildings, like this one, say, can be accessible by our guests. Our guests can go in, and then maybe on the other side here, instead of solid wall, these are windows. Maybe we add some more facilities in here or whatever, but maybe those are windows that look into the dingoes. And yeah, maybe the dingoes, maybe I'll build, like I'll copy, probably mostly copy, because we don't need to rebuild all of this. But copy some of these buildings, like, you know, back in here, then that can be some dingo shelter. And just kind of like, you know, make this look like a part of the city, but like we're starting to, or the village, I guess, it's more like a village. Make it look like this is still part of the village, but like start to thin it out a bit so that we like transition into ancient Egypt a little bit later on. So yeah, that's kind of generally what I'm thinking. Besides that, I don't think, besides the fennec foxes, I don't think there's really too much to update on. Looks like we're getting a lot of babies and such. We'll have to do a full tour of everybody soon. See all of the updates that have happened and all the new babies and who all is going on. The penguin problem as well has been fully solved. With just that deeper water, they are remaining happy now, which is awesome. It did bug out a couple more times, but I didn't have to change anything further. They seem to be happy with the depth of the water now. So our penguins are in a very good place. And yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, let's jump into that speed build. So the building that we're doing today actually ended up taking me a lot less time than I was expecting. So since we already had kind of all of this, you know, ready to go, and it was just a lot of, I was basically copy and pasting most of the buildings. I made a couple more small ones, but for the most part, the buildings were just copy and pasted, and then new, like decorations put on them later and that sort of thing. So this ended up being quite quick to build. So we get into a ton of detailing in this episode, which I haven't really done on camera before. I'm used to doing detail work off camera just because it takes a really long time, and I want to show you the building. But it's hard to show both the building and the detail work without the video being, you know, like hours long. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So let me know what you think once we do kind of get into it. Right now, obviously, we're still doing the building. But once we kind of get more into that detail work, let me know if it works for you. Like I don't know, sped up. I'm not really sure, you know, can you see it properly? Does it actually help? That sort of thing. So looking for a bit of feedback on that, because I could include more of it in the future if it is helpful to see how the actual details go in. But yeah, I'm unsure at this point, so let me know. But anyway, essentially I just made the rest of this little walkway essentially. So these buildings have a little bit more space in between just to make it feel like this area is thinning out a bit. And essentially after that last building there, this is going to be the end of Tatooine. So I really like how this area turned out. I like that it's fairly small. I would say it's a similar scale to our oasis. And yeah, I love how that turned out. So right here, this area, we are putting together a habitat for our dingoes. So this part I am putting some buildings side by side just to, like, you know, make the habitat barriers a little bit easier. That way we don't have to, you know, barrier off all of it. But that's essentially going to be a little viewing area for the guests. I do want to go through, I think, actually, you know what? I'm thinking next episode might be a detailing episode altogether in terms of, like, all the little things that we've missed, like signage and lighting and all of that, because I really need to take some time to do that, but I don't want it to, like, I don't want it to cause delays in the progress of this zoo. So I think that might have to be next episode. So hopefully, you know, that sounds fun to everybody as well. But yeah, we need to do lighting and signage and all of that fun stuff up until this point, because we are about halfway, maybe even more than halfway through this series. So or through this zoo in general. I was planning out a bit today, just because I wanted to see, how much more time we had to kind of add everything and everything that I had planned for this zoo, and wanting to start a Christmas zoo before Christmas, or a winter zoo before Christmas as well. So yeah, and it's actually looking pretty darn perfect. So this is episode 8. It kind of seems like this zoo's gonna go up to about episode 15 or 16. And so a little bit smaller than our previous one, Naropa City Zoo. But I kind of always wanted this to be a bit of a smaller zoo, just a few sections. I mean, it's so specific. Like Desert Africa is a very specific sort of theme to have going on for a zoo, I think. So there's only so much that we can really add, right? It's not just a every animal under the sun sort of city zoo. And it'll give us the opportunity to start another zoo this year as well. So that's kind of what it's starting to look like in the plans. We're going to be doing up to about episode 15 or 16 in this zoo, because we have the Egypt section to still do, our surprise section to do, and just kind of ending it off, coming back around to the entrance area again as well. So I'm really excited about that. But that also means that I am starting, at least mentally, to be planning for our next zoo. So the next zoo that we're doing is going to be like I'm thinking about just going straight up tundra. I was thinking taiga for a while, but I think there's too much warm weather in the taiga. I would love a place that's just snow on the ground all the time. I'm thinking full tundra. There's a few new animals in the North America pack that work well for like a tundra, like cold sort of biome. We can bring in the beaver. They can live in, negative weather. There was an Arctic fox that would work in that sort of climate. The coyote, maybe? I didn't notice what the temperature range on the coyote was, but I think that would be fine in a cold weather too. There's a few of them. So I'm excited to play with be able to play with those new animals, and then also even stretching back to the Arctic pack. I haven't played with most of those animals at all yet, so I'm really excited about having one that's nice and cold weather and holiday themed and all that fun stuff. So if you have any ideas or anything that you might like to see when it comes to a zoo like that, now is the time to let me know before I really start getting into it and planning it. Or the best time to let me know, I guess. You can always let me know your suggestions, but the best time to let me know what you might want to see in that next zoo is right now. So yeah, just jumping back to here, we can see that dingo habitat is kind of wrapped up there. There's 2 viewing points, one kind of hidden back here, which we'll use for education, which is something that we'll put in everywhere when we start to do the detail work a little bit more, because I've been slacking a lot on education, and then one just along the path there, so that's where I had put the viewing devices and speakers and all of that fun stuff. And then basically from here on, for the rest of the video, or for the rest of the speed build anyway, we are doing detailing. So the first thing that I did was come through with all of the rocks and all of those pieces that I had like still saved from last episode. How I was saying, I just save all of the like pieces that I like in terms of scenery pieces into that like favorited category, and then I can just pick them up real quick. Of course, bringing back these drapes. This is like the only piece that I use. I probably could have made some variations on it, but I think it looks good, so might as well just stick with it. Those customs crates that I had made as well, burying them in the sand. I love how that looks. As well as some of these Australia pieces. I like the rust, the like rusty metals and like these random little fences too. I think it just kind of fits in there really well. And buried in the sand. So this part, you'll notice that there's a bunch of stuff over there, and I will keep going back and forth to it. Those are workshop items. So generally speaking, I had been kind of trying to avoid using too many workshop items, but you know what, there's so many really good pieces for like clutter and that sort of thing around here that I just, you know what, I decided to use them. So I think there's like 4 or 5 different sets that I have laid out there, and I pick at least a couple from each set and use them. So those are going to be, I'm going to link the workshop items down in the description below. with a little bit of information on what each one is. So if you want to get these sets, they're really well made. I think they look really awesome. This first one is kind of a set of market clutter, market items and stuff. And I mean, you know, this is kind of meant to be maybe a bit more of an abandoned place, but also it's obviously not abandoned. We have shops and stuff here. So, you know, kind of mixing the clutter between stuff that kind of looks abandoned, but then also just stuff that kind of looks messy and maybe not well stored and that sort of thing. Just placing crates of, you know, bags of food and who knows what else, boxes of pots, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. And I just throw a bunch of those all over the place here. Play a little bit with these fruits and stuff for these vendors, vendor stands. And yeah, I think it ends up really filling everything in quite nicely in the end. These carts take up a lot of space, which is nice. I finally filled in this area underneath by this path that I was kind of complaining about in the last video of it looking kind of empty. So that looks much better now that there's a bunch of you know, random clutter things underneath. And then this set was, what was this one called? It'll be linked anyway, but I think this was a like more of a desert specific set for, you know, like large clutter items or maintenance items. And I really liked these giant crates. I think they just look really good and they take up a lot of space. So that's really what we want, is things that take up the visual space, because we are in a desert and the landscape does not take up very much visual space, and we're trying not to litter it with plants. And then this was just a set of crates and an individual crate as well. So I just thought those looked kind of nice. And these crates almost look kind of what I wanted to go for when it came to like the metal like gun crates or whatever that you see when you do see like pictures or fan art of Tatooine. You see a lot of these like metal boxes around, and I thought this one looked really good, so I just made one color variation because it took a while to change the color, and just kind of threw a couple of yellow and blue ones around there for those. And then this was another set of just backstage storage items. I really liked this set. I liked the use of the gift baskets at the top. That was kind of cool. But I love these palettes. I think these palettes work so well in here. And I actually haven't like deconstructed them, but I think they're just wood pieces made to look like palettes. So it would be fairly easy to do, but like, I'm glad that somebody else did it, because, you know, why redo something that somebody else has already done? And then this set of vehicles as well. So I used a few of them just to kind of bury. Some of them are like wrecked, buried in the sand. Some of them are, you know, more staged. But yeah, I just essentially wanted to fill out this back area a little bit better behind everything, just so that it didn't look totally weird when we're, you know, flying around the zoo and that sort of thing. And just barren in the back. I don't know, like guests don't really see back there, but still good to just clutter it up, I think, for, you know, when we're even overviewing the zoo and that sort of thing. It looks a lot better. Empty boxes, empty crates, empty vehicles, buried in the sand, that sort of thing is just generally what I was going for here. So I think, yeah, I like how it turned out in the end. It's still a little bit plain back here at the very end, but I think that's fine. I mean, we don't really see it much. It's just meant to, you know, sort of act like it's a working backstage area, right? Like nobody's gonna see back here. I might also look into, I've been thinking about that sand pile as well that I'd made and talked briefly about last time. It's still there. It's not like a permanent location for it. It's just kind of still there to keep it in the back of my mind. I think I do want to come in and terraform a little bit afterwards, like around this area, like see where I want to maybe visually cut off. You know, if we want to maybe not see all of Egypt in the background when we're walking through here, then I could, like, you know, add some sand hills to block that off and that sort of thing. But I'm going to wait until closer to the end, or at least the end of like this area. Once we kind of start building into the next one and we know what we want to block from line of sight, then I'll kind of fix the actual terrain and that sort of thing. Which also something really exciting is that new update obviously came out last week, and I'm really excited about terrain maps, because for the next zoo, for that like taiga or tundra zoo that we're gonna do, I want to do a mountainous terrain, like feeling like we're on a mountain sort of a situation. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be making some free-to-use terrain maps over the next little while, so I'm really excited to use that for our new zoo. Obviously, we're not going to put anything like that into this one, but yeah, at the very end here, I went through the entire area and put some plants. I tried to be, you know, fairly sparing with the plants, but also I wanted it to look overgrown, a little bit taken over, so that's that. And just like that, here is the final product. So nobody has really made their way over here just yet, but that's okay. I'm sure this area will fill out as we get a little bit more population. Ooh, I need to add some domes on top of that building, actually. Of course, it's never ending. We never quite finish it off, do we? But yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. So this area here is going to be our like guest viewing area. What I'm thinking, now that we have the new seating for the animal talks and such, we'll do some seating back here, and then, you know, the animal talk happening up here. So this will just be an area people will come when they specifically want to, like, you know, see an animal talk, and then they'll head back after that. And then, yeah, generally they'll probably be seeing the dingoes when they walk past this way to the next area, but we're not quite there yet. So yeah, that's what that looks like from kind of, you know, guest level or so around here. That's what it looks like in this area. We'll have to wait and see, you know, what it looks like when everybody kind of fills it out. But I also obviously added in the plants and a little bit more detail in here too. So, you know, it just looks a little bit more, it looks a little bit more full in this area now as well. Similar to this building, there's nothing really here. I thought about adding more exhibits, but then I'd have to add 2 more to make it even, because this is like an even number rather than an odd number, which makes it hard. Is she taking a video of my snakes? I didn't know they did that. But yeah, this area here just has, you know, a little bit of clutter. It's still pretty boring in here. I don't know. I still don't really know what I want to do with it, but that's okay. That's what that looks like for now. And then this area looks pretty much the same, just with a little bit more filling in, and obviously the extra plants and overgrowth and all of that. So yeah, that is Tatooine. It is finally complete. We're going to go straight into Egypt at this point. I don't know what that transition is going to look like just yet. I am kind of debating. I might have to look up some inspiration and stuff, whether I want it to be like a building transition, like you kind of go through a building of some sort to get there. Maybe like one last Tatooine style building, like a big one, similar to the one with the arch in the middle, that you walk through, and then on the other side is Egypt. That might work. But yeah, unsure at this point. We will have to wait and see. If you have any ideas, let me know. But yeah, I don't know if I really have too much else. Let's take a look at our dingoes. So here is our female dingo, Maya. She's a little bit more light colored. I don't think she's, yeah, she's not, albinistic or anything, but, she's very light colored. And look how cute. I've never really, I don't think I added these guys to Naropa City Zoo, and that's when the Australia pack had come out, so, we won't watch you poop, it's fine. Let's take a look over here at our, oh, he's carrying the toy. Let's see. Oh, I love that, that's so cute. So this is our male, what's your name? Joshua. Our male dingo Joshua also taking a poop, but he's got his toy in his mouth. How cute. So his color is a lot different, so I'm curious to see what they, how their babies turn out, because I'm sure they will have babies, hopefully. I don't think they've, oh, look at her playing in the pool. These guys are so cute. I love that. Yeah, she's not pregnant yet or anything, but she's the alpha female, so I think she's kind of meant to get pregnant. This building here is just a kind of a plain little building, but it's their little shelter. I apparently didn't add any bed for them. I need to do that. And we probably need to deal with the fact that our wild dogs are maturing. Oh no, I already put them on contraceptives. That's what really matters. Perfect. I also thought maybe we should take a quick little look at our peafowl habitat over here. I know we looked at it very quickly last time, but they've had some babies. Look at these cute little guys. I love that. And this area is just bumping with people. Everybody is hanging out, crowding the gates, trying to get food, probably trying to see the peafowl, clearly trying to see the foxes as well in giant groups. Oh, actually, they might be waiting for the animal talk here to happen. I need to organize our animal talks a bunch. But yeah, that's what that looks like. This area is a little bit overcrowded, but hopefully people will start, you know, spreading out a little bit more once we get there. But these guys seem to be having fun. They haven't been getting stressed. Their terrain and stuff is a little bit off. And we need to do a little bit more vet research to get them some better enrichment items. But that'll come with time. The other thing that I was thinking is that we haven't started doing any kind of, what am I thinking? Marketing yet. So why don't we do that? Because we have a good influx of money. Like, I basically just need to leave this running for, you know, maybe 10 minutes real time, and we're at $100,000. So I think we've got plenty of dollars ready. So I think what we can do is get some marketing going. Let's do family marketing, maybe. We can do that one. I think we can do can we do all of these? The high impact? Oh yeah, we can. Ooh, should we? Should we do all of them? Let's do 2 for now. We'll do 2 marketing for now. I don't want to blow our budget or anything. I think I'll keep an eye on it, make sure that we're still making money. But generally speaking, we seem to be making a lot of money, so. Oh boy, I have water for these guys, I think. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's right over here. Let's just duplicate this. Give this poor guy another water source just in case. Penguins. Penguins. Oh, is he? Yeah, he's right there. Okay. Have something to drink, little penguin. No? We don't like the water? Why not? What's happening? Look how cute he is wandering through the grass. Oh, because I know they can't swim, so they can't. But can he drink from? Is he going to drink from the water? Is that what's happening? Look at him wander down the thing. Is he like looking for? He's looking straight up in the air. Yeah, he's totally going to grab his own drink of water. Oh, so you were just too lazy to grab a drink of water? Is that the problem? What's the plan here, buddy? What are we doing? All right, yep. Okay, there we go. Look at that. We can drink our own water. You made protesters come here just because you wouldn't go and grab your own water. Fascinating. Anyway, that is all that we have for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, let me know in the comments, did you enjoy this video? Are you liking the new area? What areas are you excited for? Do you have any cool ideas for the ones that we know are upcoming? And as I had mentioned previously, if you have any suggestions or cool ideas for the next zoo before I start planning it, now is the time to let me know. And I will talk to you in the next episode.